are listening to the Loving Your Own Soul podcast, and I'm your host, Britt Olson. Guided by my own intuition, my intention is to deliver genuine conversations centered around health and wellness, spirituality, self-expression, and culture. In this space, I will provide you with real-life stories, theories, and inspiring perspectives to help you uncover and tap into your own true potential. I'm so grateful you've chosen to tune in with me on this mindful exploration to living a more fluid life through a deeper connection to the soul. Now let's dive into today's journey. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of this new podcast. My name is Britt Olson and I'm so happy you are here and taking the time to tune in with me. The Loving Your Own Soul platform is really a space that I created and encourage and invite you to join me in this mindful exploration to living a more fluid life through a deeper connection to the soul. This is an exploration that I've been going through for many years. It's really helped me peel back the layers, release the limiting beliefs that no longer serve me, and just further continuing the journey of figuring out what truly sparks my soul, sets me on fire, gives me that natural momentum and adrenaline and hunger that I need it. You need it to survive. And that's who you are. That's soul work. That's finding your inner truth inside of you. And it's a process. Through this platform, I hope that you'll be able to really kind of connect within, not only start loving yourself or understanding that maybe you're not the only one that feels that way. You're not the only one that's gone through these experiences, and kind of giving you another sense of connection in this digital world, and also at the same time kind of dive deep, get dirty, pull back the layers, and all with the intention of digging deep so that way you can truly appreciate the beautiful light that resides within yourself. It's really just kind of tuning in to who you are outside of the work you do, the titles that have been given to you, maybe any limiting beliefs that were kind of placed on you since childhood, and giving you the chance to truly spark what lights you up. And through this podcast, my intention is to really bring you a variety of topics from different key areas such as food and wellness, self-expression, mind, body, lifestyle and culture, and spirituality. We're going to share some different perspectives, authentic conversations, maybe different theories and stories. It may not always mirror some traditional beliefs or things that society tells us, but this is a safe space to open up, think a little bit differently, and maybe it's not even thinking differently. It's finding a sense of connection to different thoughts that you've been thinking your whole life, but have always felt a little bit scared or apprehensive because it was like, oh man, I'm the only one who thinks this. I must be a little bit crazy out there. But no, there's so many of us who think and believe and question just the way you do. And that's one of the beauties of technology in the current world that we live in 2020, is that we're able to connect with individuals from all over the entire world. And I truly believe that we're put here to make shifts in society, form into the individuals that our soul is destined to be during this current human body experience, thanks to technology and travel and the ability of us to just really explore not only every corner of the world, but every corner of our inner being as well. So yeah, I mean, for me, my life personally has been affected in so many positive ways from inspiring podcasts, most in particularly Jordan Younger with the Balanced Blonde, the Almost 30 podcast hosted by Krista Williams and Lindsey Simcik, The Lively Show with Jess Lively. Jess Lively's show, The Lively Show, was actually my very first podcast that I ever listened to. I shouldn't say my first. My very first podcast was Serial that I honestly don't really even remember the context of it. I think it was maybe like murder mystery or crime, or somebody can correct me on that, but it doesn't matter either way. Back in 2014, when I was living in New York City, my roommates and I think other friends at the time were listening to this Serial podcast. And one day on the subway on the way to work, I tuned into it. And I think I only listened to the first episode. It was just that storyline where I kind of was like, okay, whatever. If this is a podcast, I'm really not interested. For whatever reason, that form of podcast just didn't speak to me. Nothing wrong with the content that was being produced. I would just rather felt more inspired by listening to my own music or reading motivational words and things on my way to work in the mornings. But then in the summer of 2015, maybe summer of 2016, really about 4 to 5 years ago, roughly, a very close friend of mine who I actually met through working with her down here in Florida, where I currently reside. Her name is Taryn. She introduced me to The Lively Show, hosted by Jess Lively, and I was able to listen to my first interview style podcast, and I completely fell in love with it. I think that Jess Lively at the time was interviewing, it was either Jay Papasan with the One Thing Principle, or maybe Hal Elrod with the Miracle Morning. It might have been Hal, because I'm a big morning person. These two books, by the way, The One Thing and Miracle Morning, are both published books by each of their respective authors and are very, very good reads if you haven't read them before. I'll link them in the show notes and highly suggest you tune in. But a pun I'll never forget, sitting in the car, we were traveling to an event that summer, and she's like, I think you're going to like this. I'm just going to tune it in. I think we had like a 4-hour car ride ahead of us. And just listening to, not only was filled with so much inspiration of different perspectives and some things that I had maybe thought of previously. I had just recently, a couple years before that, read The Law of Attraction and then watched it on Netflix and was so interested in, it's really when my soul diving deeper into who I am and who I felt that I was supposed to embody in this lifetime kind of began. But it really began my quest, not only a quest for bettering myself and learning different perspectives and different methods versus really being up to myself to Google what I thought I needed. It kind of provided me natural senses of really what I needed or what I needed to hear, different things to try out and learn in just a safe space. It was through the speakers of a car or through the speakers of my earbuds. And I just completely fell in love with it. But not only did I fall in love with podcasts, and really from The Lively Show, I went on to listen to the Good Life podcast, and then Lewis Howes became pretty popular with his School of Greatness, all similar, being the more inspirational interview style podcast. But upon my first 1 or 2 episodes with The Lively Show, I remember sitting in the car thinking, wow, I want to have my own podcast. Like, I want to do this. I love public speaking. I know I love helping people. I just haven't quite found the medium to help them. And this is something I want to do. And then, of course, different sets of thoughts crept in of, who do you think you are? You can't have a podcast. I mean, we all know how it goes, all those little evil stories in our head that keep us from doing what we're truly meant to do, in my opinion. But now, 5 years later, I am finally doing it. And I couldn't be more excited or more grateful for those of you who are already tuning in here. It's truly a gift. And I'm really just looking to pay the favor forward and do the same for others. I'm here to bring on inspiring guests and connect with them in really just genuine conversations to bring you, the listeners, to ways of further inspiration and connection within yourselves. It's going to be amazing. I've continued down my own journey of transformation and tapping in to the true me. It's a constant journey. It never ends. It's not like you start this and suddenly reach the era of enlightenment and all the work is done. No, it's a continuous journey in life. Life isn't meant to be perfect. You're meant to do the work so that way you can better manage the things that life throws at you. And some of you who've known me throughout my life, maybe in various stages where I haven't been the best at expressing myself or have never been one to talk about my feelings, etc., whatever might have you, might be listening to this and thinking this is one of the strangest new projects I could ever do. That's totally fine. I honor that time period in which you knew that version of me to be, and I honor that space that I was in previously because I needed to experience all those things to get me where I am today. However, I hope that in exchange, you will also be able to honor where I sit today after much uncovering, unraveling, and really digging deep to find the purest and truest version of me as I know myself to be in this current space, because I'm also continuing to change. But more so, I hope that you will follow my journey and the journey of the guests who we bring on here on this podcast. It's a safe space for you to listen, contemplate, and just to carry on this journey with all of us here together. On here, you can expect to receive bi-weekly interview episodes featuring inspirational and empowering individuals from all walks of life. I'll also be generating a weekly digest episodes, which will come out weekly on Thursdays, where I will digest and decode different health and wellness or spiritual or cultural topics, really so that way you can better understand some of these common phrases or theories that are going on in our world, and in exchange, just feel a little more confident or on trend in this ever-changing world that we live in. So once again, I'm so grateful. I hope that this podcast will bring you as much inspiration as I've gleaned through other podcasts. And yeah, it's really my way of saying thank you to those who have unknowingly become my mentors over the last 5 years. And I just find this space to be so incredible. I probably sound like a broken record, like how many times can I say the word inspiring in an episode, but it truly is the best adjective of describing the space of podcasts. And for me, more particularly the interview style podcasts with bringing on different guests and hearing about their stories. So before I leave you, I do want to share one of my favorite quotes that I truly believe embodies not only the soul's journey, but our journey together through human connection. Eckhart Tolle, author of The Power of Now, one of my favorite authors, and really my favorite quote from him, and a quote that I've kind of had lived by to this day. I think it's actually listed on my personal Instagram profile, but the quote is, "Life is an adventure. It's not a package tour." So I hope you will take that and enjoy this adventure of life and enjoy this adventure of starting a new podcast, a new hobby, new endeavor, and I can't wait to see where I go with all of you. Anyway, as always, one more thing, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast if you've enjoyed your time on here with me. The ratings and reviews are really the only way we can truly expose and share this content on a global level and ensure that it reaches the ears and the listeners who need it the most. In exchange for your ratings and reviews, I am giving away my free plant-based recipe ebook, which includes 25 recipes, everything from smoothies, desserts, dressings, even a lot of our favorite comfort foods that I've crafted with a twist, removing a lot of the salt, oil, and sugar, which you'll find you can still eat incredible tasting food without everything that destructs your body at the same time. Plant-based mac and cheese, homemade pizzas, tacos, so many fun things. So to get this ebook, all you have to do is rate and review, and then take a screenshot of your review and email me proof at lovingyourownsoul@gmail.com. I'll also link my email in the show notes so you can easily find it. And yeah, I just would so appreciate it. So appreciate the ratings and reviews. And as you'll find in the later episodes in launch of my new podcast, I'm actually doing an additional giveaway for everyone who rates and reviews. So you'll have to go head over to those episodes to learn more about how you can win big this year. But for anyone who's interested in connecting further, definitely please check me out online at my website, Loving Your Own Soul, lyoslife.com, for more detailed show notes, recipes, intimate blog postings, or if you feel so inclined, we can connect further as well on Instagram. You can find me at Loving Your Own Soul. So as always, so grateful for everyone, and thank you so much for being here on this journey with me.